everybody, and shout out to everyone in my Good Vibe tribe. I wanted to come at you with another raw talk style video. I did one of these prior a while ago, and I kind of touched on a topic that was kind of like a reoccurring theme that people were asking me about, like how I stay positive all the time. And recently there's been a lot of people talking about anxiety that they're dealing with, and I thought the fact that I deal with anxiety in my personal life would be cool to touch base on that and kind of like, you know, share my humanness with you in hopes that we can relate better to one another. And I think that anxiety is something that's so relevant to the world today, and so many people deal with it, that it's just so wonderful to share that. And if it helps even just one person feel less alone, then wonderful. That's all I could ask for. So over the years, I've been dealing with increasingly more anxiety. And actually in the past like 2 weeks, it's been just like excessive. So I thought, all right, this is gonna be good. I'm just gonna like talk about it. And this is really just like also for my own therapeutic method to just word vomit it out and just talk about it. But ultimately I just figured it's something that should always be talked about because it exists, and we should never hide something that we're faced with and something that we struggle with, because maybe somebody can help, or at least relate to you or be able to understand you a little bit better. First, I would like to point out that having anxiety is fine. There's nothing wrong with you. Literally nothing is wrong with you. It's just something that exists. It's something that we deal with. It's something that a lot of people deal with. And what I've noticed recently, literally everybody I know has anxiety. I don't think I know one person or friend, or even in professional settings, everybody has anxiety and has dealt with it in some way or another. So it's kind of been cool to be able to be like, all right, we're all in this together. I'm not alone. This isn't something that just bothers me. It affects everybody. I feel like there's such a negative stigma towards anxiety, as it's something that we should be ashamed of, something that we shouldn't share, something that's a bad thing that makes us broken, and absolutely not. That is not even slightly the case. It doesn't make you any less of a person. It doesn't mean you're not a happy person. And the way I always see it is happiness is a mood. Positivity is a mindset. So you're gonna feel all different types of moods, but if you just stay positive through it, that's the best way that you can get through anything in life. So growing up, I never dealt with anxiety or panic attacks or any type of this situation ever in my childhood, fortunately. And when it first happened, I actually specifically remember the very first time I dealt with an anxiety attack, panic attack. I'm gonna use those interchangeably. I don't know the difference per se. But I remember it very specifically. I was actually out to lunch with my mom at a restaurant, and we had gone shopping all afternoon. It was a great day. There was nothing stressful involved whatsoever. And we're sitting at the table, and then all of a sudden it's like, I couldn't breathe. I had like weight on my chest. I had just tears, but I wasn't sad for any reason. It was just like, just this ball of energy that was just exploding, I guess. And it was something I'd never felt before, but just out of breath, kind of hyperventilating. And it was scary because it was like, what's going on? It was kind of like, what, am I having a heart attack? Because my heart was racing, my hands got real clammy. And I mean, like, literally sitting at a table at a restaurant, they give you bread before you order, and then boom, panic attack. But at the time I didn't know what it was, so it was just like, what's going on? So I went to the restroom and just kind of like put some cold water on my face, and I chilled out. And it didn't last very long, but it was just like, what was that about? And at the time I had been dealing with a lot of just random health issues just being thrown at me. So I kind of dismissed it and just thought, okay, what else can you throw at me? But in hindsight, I now know that was technically my first panic attack, anxiety attack. Ever since then, I've had these random bouts of anxiety attacks, I guess you could say. And they happen so random and sometimes frequent, sometimes not frequent, but they happen. The funny thing is that they're never technically brought on by a trigger. They're actually usually happening in the most random of times, when I'm not stressed, I'm completely comfortable, and then boom, I feel this way. Like one time I was in the middle of a Marshalls shopping, and I love Marshalls, and there was nothing going on that day, and I'm just, you know, flipping through clothes on a rack, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh my gosh, and you just get this, you know, like I don't even know how to put words to it, but it's just like you can't breathe. Like you literally can't breathe, for me personally. And it's, you can breathe in, but you can't exhale. And then your chest gets heavy and your heart races, and it's scary. But over time, I now know I'm not dying, I'm not having a heart attack, but you know, it's confusing and it's not fun. And for me, it was something in the beginning that was very embarrassing, because I was so scared. Like, I don't want to have, like, make a scene in public. Like, I don't know what causes this, and I don't know why this happens, but sometimes it does, and that's fine. But you know, when this is happening to you, there's a lot going on in your head, and I feel like this only lasts, you know, a couple seconds, not even a couple minutes, but then it just feels like it's an eternity, because you're like, what is going on with me? What confuses me, and you know, has over the years, is that it pretty much contradicts who I am. I love social settings. I love big events. I love going out and meeting new people and seeing new places and adventuring, and public speaking doesn't frighten me in the slightest, and I love being on stage. In fact, the bigger the audience, the better. I'm very comfortable in those scenarios, which is kind of a scenario that would typically give someone a lot of stress and anxiety. But ironically, none of those situations cause anxiety for me. It's when I'm just in a store, at a restaurant, in my backyard laying with my dog, who actually, it's very funny, she now knows, Honey knows when I'm having a panic attack. I don't know if she knows like when I'm about to, because I think it just like happens, but she will just come up to me and just lick my face and put her paws on me and just kind of stick with me until I feel better. So it's amazing how animals can react to the way we're feeling. But for the longest time, and even now, I still have this underlining fear of this happening in the wrong time and place. So like in a professional setting, if I'm with a boy that I like, if I'm on set somewhere, or just simply in front of a lot of friends having a good time, and then all of a sudden it comes on. It's just this ongoing thought of like, well, how do I manage that? And that's something that over time I've learned to deal with different ways to kind of deal with it, and just, you know, let it happen, but in a healthy way, be able to like bring myself out of it and tell myself it's fine. But that's kind of exactly it. It's just something you learn to manage. It's not something that defines you. It's just something that comes along with you, I guess. For me personally, I have now been able to kind of separate it as this kind of like this animated cartoon conversation between my head and my body. So my mind knows I'm fine, nothing's wrong, I'm having a good time, today is great, life is good. And then my body is just all of a sudden like, whoa, 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 what's going on? And so it's like these two contradicting feelings, but ultimately my head's like, all right, calm down, you're fine, what's going on, what's the matter? But then your body is just having a moment, is basically how I now can just learn to deal with it. It's like, it's having a moment, let it have its moment. And that kind of just makes me reassure myself, like, I'm fine. This is basically just a physical reaction that happens to me. Why? I don't know, but it does. There's another visualization too. There's an episode in The Fairly Odd Parents that I remember very specifically when I was younger, where he enters a body of somebody and he's with like all these like cooties in a boat inside somebody's like insides in their stomach, and one of the cooties reaches over and touches something that you're not supposed to touch because you're on like a ride or something, and as soon as they touch something, it makes that person sick because the cootie touched it. So I think of anxiety as like, there's just like even in the movie Inside Out, like there's little characters inside of me and it's just like, oh, they touched the wrong thing, and then all of a sudden you feel that way, which for me is just like a funny way to laugh at it and be able to blow it off and just let it pass. It's frustrating, it's confusing, and sometimes it's more intrusive than others, and other times it's more intense than others. But ultimately, I've just been able to kind of over time learn to manage it and deal with it. It does not change who I am. It does not define me, just the same way as having a nose doesn't define me. I'm not Amymarie with the nose as much as I'm not Amymarie with anxiety. It's just something that happens. So what I've been focusing on lately is really just taking the time to listen to myself and pay attention to when I need a break and when I need to stop being so hard on myself, and being able to laugh off these instances, because if you don't have a humoristic, I don't know if that's a word, I'm just gonna keep making up words, a humorous mindset towards it, it's really just gonna weigh you down. And I think that over time I've been able to like chip at being so critical of myself and feeling down about something that I just can't control, and that I'm gonna learn how to manage and control over time, but for right now, this is just something that's part of life. And luckily, I'm not letting it consume my life. One of the things I always say to people is that you are 100% guaranteed to spend 100% of your time in life with you. You're stuck in your body, there's nothing you can do about it. This is what you got. So while you're here, you better make the most of it and treat yourself kindly. Be good to yourself. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I hope that understanding that I am human just as you are human can connect us and remind you that what you see on the internet is not, we live in a society where we just see highlights and glorified situations and these perfect appearing lifestyles, but that's just what we choose to share with the world. That is like the tiniest slice of the pie of what makes us who we are. And literally everybody deals with something that you know nothing about. Every single person you see is dealing with their own struggles and battles and situations, and they have so much life to them that you don't even know. You can't even scratch the surface to begin to know. But what I hope you can take from this video is, if any single one of you, if even just one of you, happens to have anxiety as a part of their life, I hope you feel less alone. I hope you can relate to this, and I hope you can feel empowered to be able to just take on whatever comes at you confidently and reassure yourself that you're fine. And over time, the things that have helped me through it is visualizing things. I'm a very visual person, and you know, working on breathing and meditation, and just kind of like this, while it's happening, just this conversation with yourself, like, all right, get it through it, come on, let's go, it's fine, you're fine. And just kind of like a overly positive, motivating voice in my head, just being like, you're good, relax. I'm a big fan of any product that has CBD in it, because I just love that, especially because my body hurts like all the time.
What else do I want to say about it?
So yeah, anxiety happens to everybody, happens to me. I'm sure some of you have experienced it, if not all of you have experienced it. Treat yourself kindly, don't be so hard on yourself, you're not alone. And I hope this video helped you. If it did, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, share it with somebody. If you feel comfortable, share with me some of your experiences, and especially ways that help you deal with it and manage it. Share with me your humanness. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel, join the Good Vibe Tribe, and catch you later. Peace.